Hi, I'm Chef Daniel from Malvern Road Hy-Vee, and today I'm going to be making some fajita sauce and some steak fajitas, and I'm also going to be making some pico de gallo. Okay, so normally people, when they think about fajitas, they normally buy one of these packets here for fajitas, and you add a little water to it, and that's it. Well, an easier way, or an actually more flavorful way that I like to do it is I like to use soy sauce. So I'll use 10 ounces of soy sauce, so one bottle. I like to use a low sodium as well. The salt is not a big fan of me, and I'm not a big fan of salt. And also, low sodium, 10 ounces of Worcestershire sauce. And then you want to go, so pretty much you go 2 parts Worcestershire, 2 parts soy sauce, and then you go 1 part of liquid smoke. This is a 4-ounce bottle, close enough. And then I add a little bit of hot sauce. You can pick whatever hot sauce you like. Cholula, Louisiana, Crystal. I like Louisiana, so I use Louisiana. Put about tablespoon worth in, or 7 drops if you like. And then I also add just a little bit of jalapeno minced up. Maybe 1/4 of a cup, depending on how much heat you want in your fajita sauce. I like a lot of heat, so I use a little bit more. And then a whisk, which I don't have a knife here. Stir that up like that, and then that is ready to go. There's fajita sauce. So I take whatever kind of meat you're going to use. You can use steak, chicken, obviously whatever you prefer for your fajitas. Take the meat and you're just going to slice it into strips, and then you're going to let this marinate for, that could go an hour. You can go less than that if you like. So magically this whisk appeared here, so I'm going to go ahead and whisk my fajita sauce up here. And then go ahead and add whatever type of meat, chicken, steak, whatever you like. I use a sirloin. You can use flank steak, and flank steak works good. Also flat iron. They're a little more pricey. With the marinade though, it'll break down a lot of the tendons and tissue, and it'll be just fine the way it is. You don't have to use a real expensive cut of meat when you're making fajitas. Okay, so once I get the steak in there, I go ahead and I'll add some red bell pepper, some green bell pepper, and some red onion. And once again, I'll mix that in there too. I usually put the steak in first because it needs a little bit more time to marinate than the vegetables will. And while that's marinating, then I'm going to go ahead and move on to making the pico de gallo from scratch. So my pico de gallo recipe is pretty simple. It just gets diced tomatoes, usually about 3 tomatoes. So I dice those up. You can dice them to if you want them fine, you want them kind of rough chopped, it's up to you. And then some small diced red onion. I usually use about 1 onion, maybe a pound onion, if you're actually measuring it by the weight. Pretty much what you want to do is go 2 parts tomato to 1 part onion when you're doing when you're making the pico de gallo. Next is going to be jalapeno again. This, once again, you can add as much jalapeno as you like. It's up to you and how spicy you want your pico de gallo or your fajita sauce. I put usually about 1/4 of a cup in. And then cilantro, finely chopped. Can never go wrong with adding cilantro, lots of cilantro. Gives it a really good flavor. So I'll just put all of it in there. And then fresh squeezed lime juice is the next thing I put in there. So 1 lime per batch that you make. And then I also add the lime zest. And then lastly, you're going to add kosher salt. About a tablespoon of kosher salt. sugar, about a half a tablespoon of sugar. And then lastly, you can put white ground pepper. You can use cracked black pepper, whatever pepper you like. I usually use cracked black pepper. And that is about 1/4 of a teaspoon or less. Me, I really like pepper too, so as well I put extra pepper in mine, but normally people don't like as much pepper as me. And then all you do is you're going to fold the pico. When I say fold, you're just going to go from the outside and you're going to fold it in. If you stir it, what you're going to do is you're going to bruise up the tomatoes, and then they're going to turn to mush. But there you have it. Pico de gallo, freshly made. All right, now that we got the pico made and the fajitas have been marinating with the vegetables, now we're ready to cook it up. So get yourself a skillet, and you're going to go ahead and you're just going to dump this in with the fajita sauce. And you let that cook down to whatever you want your meat to. You can go medium rare, you can go to rare if you like. It's up to you. It's your fajita. And cooking it in its own juice will also add extra flavor to it, so it's not like you're dumping out all this marinade. You can actually use it for a cooking process as well. All right, so now that we've cooked this down, fajita sauce it's marinated the vegetables, the steak, and now it's full of flavor and deliciousness. Now we're going to take this and we're going to strain it to a colander or a strainer, whatever you like to use. We're going to kill the heat from the front burner. Strain that out and pour it into a bowl. If you want to save some of the juice, you can, to make sure it stays nice and juicy and it doesn't get dried out. You can put a little bit of that reserve juice that we just used to cook in it. You can dump some of that in, just a tad. And there you have it. That is fajita. Fajita's made with fajita sauce from scratch instead of the packets. And then once again, I'm Chef Daniel, I'm from the Road IV. Happy Cinco de Mayo. The back one?
Try to let it back.
Huh?
You had the front one on?
No, the rear, which would be this one, correct?
No, that's the front.
Oh. I don't get it. That's crazy, man. I mean, like, rear, front.
No, front would be.
Rear, front. Can you put this in the video?
Stove at your house?
Yeah.
So front would be the one closest to you.
No, mine's really old. Mine's really old.